All right, good morning, everyone. So it is the 18th of April, a brand new week. I hope you had a good long weekend. We had Good Friday, and then it is Easter Monday today. With a long weekend, we've seen the markets close, but it still moved, but not as much as usual. So on Friday, we saw very low liquidity, very low movements on Friday. Today, possibly looking at some slower moves as well, but just doing some prep before the call, I actually saw some movements with some possible good trade setups as well. It's been a long time. It feels like it's been a long time. The last call we had was Thursday night with our Traders Club members, where we actually had some very good trade ideas shared during that session. I've updated you guys on the platform already, just a couple of TP levels hit, and we see some bounce back at this point. So again, today being Monday, we will be looking at the dollar index. We will be looking at some news for the week. We will be looking at the Aussie dollar, focusing on the Aussie dollar and also onto the Kiwi dollar as well. All right, so as usual, just a quick one. Disclaimer, any information shared in this video is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of myself. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. Right, so with that said, now looking at the news here, today being the Monday, the 18th of April, we have just seen the Chinese GDP number being released, a bit better than expected. So there's quite a bit of a shock that GDP quarter on year was 4%, expected a 4.2, came out at 4.8. So a very good number there, slightly surprising the market, right? So take that with a little bit of pinch of salt. We've seen the markets actually take that with a pinch of salt as well. With the Aussie dollar dropping against the US dollar, we know that the Aussie does have some moves when the Chinese data is being released because of that closed trading relationship there. So just watch out for that. Later into the day, we have all the banks on holiday, the Swiss, the UK, the French, the German, the Italians, all on holiday because of Easter. But the US market is going to be open in the evenings. So be careful when you start trading. It's going to be quite quiet for the day, leading into a little bit more liquidity and volumes into the evenings. So quite straightforward for today in terms of the Aussie and the Kiwi, especially. Not a lot of trades, but if you're going to do any trades, follow the trend. With that, tomorrow, well, early tomorrow morning, we do have the RBNZ governor speaking, Governor Orr speaking about inflation at the IMF and World Bank group meetings in DC. I think that this might have some implications to the Kiwi dollar, especially if they do come out saying that inflation is running hot, we need to take some actions to that. We've already seen the RBNZ increase rates quite significantly, 50 basis point there, with not as much impact as expected. So, possibly look for some jaw boning there to happen. 4 a.m., I don't expect you to be trading that news, but at 4 a.m., it would be quite good where in the mornings, Tuesday morning, you might be able to see the move for the New Zealand dollar continue on. So we'll look at some trades on the Kiwi dollar based on that news. Again, Tuesday, not much news there. Aussie monetary policy meeting minutes. So the Aussie meeting minutes to be released on Tuesday morning at 9:30. So as you can see here, may give clues on the next rise, right? So we're looking at possible further increases coming from the RBA. So watch out for that. I think that we might see the Aussie or the RBA be a little bit more positive, a little bit more hawkish, especially coming from the minutes, possibly looking at some Aussie dollar strength being applied. So watch out for that. On Wednesday, we have the Cad Cpi number. I'll tell Traders Club members about the Cad, set you up for that on Tuesday night with our live call. But the CPI number for Cad month on month looking to drop slightly from a 1% to a 0.9%. So looking at a small drop in the Cad. We had some discussion here on the Cad already, so Look for that. New Zealand CPI number quarter on quarter looking like it's running hot, right? 1.4% to a 2%. So quarter on quarter inflationary number for New Zealand looking like it's going to run above towards that 2% and possibly even above. I think it might even get to the 2.1 or 2, possibly that 2.1% there. So that's going to reinforce what we saw coming from the RBNZ statement that they're going to pay a lot of attention to the inflationary numbers in New Zealand, might force further talk or further action from the RBNZ. I don't think they're going to do too much more immediately because they did have a very big rate increase already. They might hold, wait and see. But this, if it does get to that 2%, is going to reinforce the idea that they're going to need to take more actions sooner rather than later. And then on to Friday, we have a whole bunch of central bankers speaking. Governor Bailey from the Bank of England speaking again in Washington, D.C., and also Fed Chair Powell speaking as well in D.C. at that meeting where most central bankers are there at this point. So anticipate on Thursday night to Friday morning, we're going to see more volatility. And then we do have that euro numbers to be released, which I'll tell you more about when we look at the euro dollar tomorrow. And also, we do have some US manufacturing PMI numbers dropping slightly from a 58.8 to a 58.1, still in the expansionary phase, but dropping slightly. PMI numbers looking to stay at that 58 level in the expansionary phase as well. So watch out for all that. I think that for this week, we're going to see markets trend a little bit, despite it being at a very low point, at a very critical point across the board. What I mean by very low point, very critical point across the board, look at the dollar index straight away. On the H4 timeframe dollar index, we've been talking about the dollar index since last week, and on Thursday, that it was bouncing off that 100 level, looking for it to go towards that 101 level. On Thursday, when we spoke about it, we were saying that it's going to break above 100 towards, I was anticipating it going towards 100.20 or 100.40. It went towards 100.50. At this level, I think that it's found a base at about there. So I'll put in a line just showing you where I think it's found a base at about that level, right? So it's hit that point, turned back down, came up, hit that level again, turned back down. Right now, it looks like it's broken above that 100.41 level. I'm looking for further upside on the dollar index. So looking for it to move again at this point towards that 101 level, right? So is it going to move in a hurry? I think it might move towards 101.70 before halting a little bit, retracing a little bit and pushing higher. Why I think that is because with most markets on holiday at this point, the US dollar might take a little bit more of a forward stance, pushing the dollar towards the upside. We might see it move up, pause at 100.70, and then push higher again. So overall view, still that dollar strength, still looking for that push higher. What you could be looking for in terms of a trade on the Aussie dollar here, look at this. Aussie dollar, we were talking about this on the H4 time frame. Last we spoke about it, we were looking for it to test that 0.74 level. It's done that, right? So I'll zoom in a little bit. It's done that. It's tested at 0.74 level. It's broken that level now. I'm looking for it to come down towards that 0.73 level. So right now, Aussie is sitting at 7366. What you could be looking for, right? I'll show you, I'll zoom out a bit. What you could be looking for is if it closes below this point. So it closes below this 7375 level, you can look for further downside. Same as what we expected here. So look for selling opportunities at this point, especially if it closes here. Your stop loss can be 40 pips. Your take profit can be about 50 to 60 pips. You're looking at a 1:1.5 risk reward ratio towards the downside, towards that 73 level, 0.73 level. This is anticipation for further dollar strength, pushing the Aussie dollar towards the downside. Look for that trend continuation. It might bounce, but I think more likely we're going to see it turn back down towards that 73 level, especially once it breaks that point. You can see that back in March, once it's broken past this level, pretty much a straight line down towards 73, got resisted here on the 11th and 10th and 11th of March. Once it got resisted, it went straight towards 73 and possibly even lower. If I zoom out, you can see that it's reached very high. Last time it broke below this point as well. In November last year, it also went towards 73 before bouncing back up again. So at a very crucial level here on the Aussie dollar, look for it to break below this point towards the 73, might bounce from this level. Look for the retrace before reloading, possible sell opportunity back down again. Again, at this point, Traders Club members, if you have any questions, put it into the chat, put it into the Traders Club platform. We're here to support your trading journey. If you are watching us on YouTube, this is recorded and uploaded later onto YouTube, so you might be missing out some trade opportunities. If you haven't already, make sure you join the club. Make sure you get this session live, so that you can jump onto trade opportunities pretty much straight away. With that, looking at the Kiwi dollar, look at that. Before this session, I was looking at Kiwi dollar, thinking that if it breaks below this 6740, you can look to sell down towards 6676. It's breaking that level right now. You can see that the last time, 15th of March, it tried to break before bouncing back up. So look for this candle to close below this level before selling. Don't sell too early. Look for it to break and close before selling. You can see that if it closes below, it's going to track lower towards that 6676 level. So straightforward here on the Kiwi dollar. Look for it to close, look to sell down. You can keep your stop loss very tight here, 20 pips stop loss, take profit, 40 to 50 pips, take profit, a 1:2 risk reward ratio towards the downside for the Kiwi dollar once it closes below this 6740 support level. So this is also a trend continuation trade. It needs to break below this point before going towards the next support level. But bear in mind, at this 6677 level is going to be very crucial. The last time it broke below in Jan, it did go very much lower. But we're going to see a lot more volatility at this point, especially if it breaks and bounces back up. So be very careful if it goes lower than this point. Second trade idea will be only if it closes below 6660. So go for the first trade, wait out, look for it to break below that blue line before looking for that second trade. But don't look to be rushing into too many trades at this point with the most markets on holiday. Look for one or two good trades. I think we're going to see more liquidity, more volumes into tomorrow, and you're going to see a lot more trading opportunities tomorrow, especially on the euro dollar and the US yen, which I'll tell you more about on Thursday morning. With that said, trade well, trade safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.